What's up, weirdos? We're back in Mist Survival, and I want to do something a little bit different today. I wanted to talk about the next update that's coming out, because I think it's a critical update. I think it's probably going to be the biggest update in the game, and honestly, I think it's a make or break update for the developer, and I'll explain why in a little bit. So what I did was I pre-recorded some footage of me logging and building some guard towers, and I'm gonna dub my my voice over this over the video. So you might not hear any sound from the game. That is why I wanted to talk to you guys just straight up, because I didn't want the game to direct my attention away from what I wanted to talk about, because you know how the game can be. There's always something that's gonna distract you. So I really wanted to go over things, because I really think this update is going to be really important for the developer. So this game has been out now since 2018. It first became available on Steam in 2018. I think it was like July or August 2018. And it's a one developer game. If you haven't played this game or you're new to this game, get ready, because there's a lot to talk about. When it first came out, it was a very popular game. There's a lot of people playing it, a lot of YouTubers playing it, and honestly, it was pretty good. I mean, for a one developer game, a lot of people were happy with it. Obviously, there were bugs, and that is just part of an early access game, especially if it's a one developer game. There's going to be bugs, and you're used to that, and you deal with it, and that was fine. And the developer, he talked to the people, and he worked on fixing things, and he did a fairly good job. I mean, for a one developer game, he did a good job, and he was, at least updating every couple of months. It seemed like it felt like that. Even into 2020, he was updating every few months, and he was, talking to people and keeping people informed. But then, things changed, and I don't know if it was COVID or what it was. Who knows what was going on in his personal life, but things started to get a little bit more sporadic. And that's fine, things happen in your life. But all of a sudden, the updates started to become fewer and farther in between. And people started noticing differences with the updates. They weren't as good. They were underwhelming, to be honest. And I want to go through it, because the first major update that he did to change the game, I think that happened at some point in 2019, and he changed the map. So some of you may not remember. This is before I even played this game. There was the old map with the old farm, and he changed the game. I don't know if he moved it to a new engine or what it was, but he basically changed the whole map. It was the same map for the most part, but a lot of changes. The textures were different. The trees, obviously, just a completely different environment. So he changed all that, and it was met with mixed reviews, but I think overall pretty positive. There are some people who still like the original map, and those are the original players, and they're gonna like that original map from now until the end of time. But as someone who started playing the game on the new map, the first new map, I gotta say, I loved it. I loved the first new map, and I loved what it had to offer. It was great. You had the old mine, you had the new mine, which was added in around the time I started playing. So it was great. I enjoyed it. There were still bugs and stuff, but you learned to work around the bugs, and that was just something that you learned to do. And I started playing the game on my YouTube channel. I think it was probably around March 2020, if I'm not mistaken. It was right around right when COVID started. But I was playing it before that. I think it was at some point, like the latter half of 2019, I started playing it on Steam. And I really enjoyed it. That's really the reason I started making videos, gaming videos on YouTube was because of YouTubers like Game Edge and Cage. I really enjoyed watching their videos, and I thought, well, if they can do that, I can do this too. And so I started making videos, and I started playing Myst. That was the first game that I started playing, and it's really been the driving force for my channel. Really, my channel started out as just a gardening channel, and I was gonna post videos of me gardening and homesteading and stuff, and it turned into a gaming channel. Surprisingly, I had no idea it was going to happen like that, but turned into a gaming channel, and it was mostly because of this game, Myst Survival. So I owe most of the growth to this channel, to this game, Myst Survival. So I'm not going to bash this game, obviously. I don't want to bash the developer because, the reason this channel has had so much success has really been because of this game. But I do want to take an honest look at how this game has evolved and where I think it's going, and where I think things could run into a snag for the developer, especially if this next update, if he doesn't hit a home run in this next update, I think there's going to be some issues. But like I said, started playing the game in 2020, and I think that was right around 0.3.0 or 0.4.0, something like that. And it was fun. He added the new mine, and then I think it was probably around Season 2, I was playing the game. I think that's when he added the new part of the old map, which, well, I guess is new map 1. We'll call it new map 1 with the new part of that. So new map 1 and 1A. And that was the bandit camp that was on the other side of the tunnel. If you guys remember that, you had to fight the tunnel boss. He added the tunnel boss in. You fought him, and then you worked your way through the tunnel, and then all of a sudden, there's a bandit camp there. And you work your way through that, and then there's not much after that. There was a gas station. There was, I think, like a farm. There was a big farm, and then there were, a couple other like little farmhouses, and then like a little village of farmhouses or something like that. And that's where you had all the alien spitting bugs, whatever you want to call them. Like they took over the zombies, and then they spat like these little things at you. I think they were called stingers or something. But definitely tough enemies to fight, and they seem to be glitched. Like there was no way to really kill them. Like you could get them with the Molotovs, but it seemed like it didn't always get them. It didn't always kill them. So, oh yeah, and then they could shoot you through the walls. That was always fun. But that was, I think that was a 0.3.5 update or something. I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to look back through it. But that was I think that was August 21 or August 2020. I think it was August 2020 that update dropped. And then after that, the developer was pretty quiet. There wasn't a lot that happened. And that was about the time, people were pretty happy with the game. People were pretty happy. There weren't a lot of people who were annoyed with the developer. Overall, it was pretty positive. And then I would say it was into 2021 where you started noticing some people getting a little bit, uneasy with the direction of the game. People were, getting impatient because the developer hadn't put out an update. I think he promised there was going to be an update soon. And this was, I don't know, it was right around the beginning of 2021. And there was no update. I think he said it was going to be in April, and there was no update. And then April came and he pushed it back to like July. And then July came and he pushed it back to September. And he said, okay, the update's going to come on this particular day. I think it was like September 10th or something of 2021. He said the update was going to happen. And it didn't happen. And this was about the time that people started getting annoyed because he kept pushing the update back. He kept promising a date for the update, and he couldn't fulfill that promise. And so people were getting upset. And he said, he's changing the map around. He's going to add on to the existing map. That was the plan. And so people were like, okay, well, as long as you're adding on to this map and you're improving it and everything, that's good, because people were happy with that map. It was a great map. People had so much fun with that map. I had so much fun with that map. And we just assumed that he was just adding on to the new map that he had already added on to. We just assumed that was the plan. And then came September, and no update. And then he announced, okay, well, it's going to be October 23rd. And so, okay, people are really starting to get annoyed now. They're getting frustrated because he keeps pushing the update back. And I think it was about this time I think he said he had another guy helping him at that point. And so we waited. Everybody was waiting, pins and needles. When's the update going to hit? Is this update, is he going to push this one back? And he pushed it back another week. It came to October 23rd, and he had some issue with it, and he had to push it back another week. And then, it was Halloween, and everybody's wondering, is it going to drop? Is it going to drop? Because he said he's going to drop the update on Steam, Halloween 2021, and it dropped. And everybody was just losing their minds excited because, hey, the Myst update came. You saw all the big YouTubers, Game Edged, Cage, Mad Vlad, all these people who loved playing Myst, and those are the people that everybody watches. I watch them just like you guys probably do. And so everybody's putting their videos out. I got my video out. I saw massive growth with my channel on that particular video. That's when my subscriber count, I think it shot up from like around 250 to like 500 in a matter of a couple weeks. So that was awesome. My channel subscriptions doubled because of that one update. But that update was an interesting one because it changed the map completely. He basically just redid the map, and he scrapped the old map. And that was met with some mixed reviews. And not only that, there were a lot of bugs. A lot of new bugs that hadn't existed before that. So that was interesting. He changed the survivors around a little bit. He got rid of Kate, and he added in Jiyeon, who I call Gigi. And then I think he added in a few other things. Obviously, he added in the new survivor that he just drives around and crashes the car all the time. I think that came in the next update, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, there were a lot of new things, and from what I remember, the survivors were completely bugged. Like, they wouldn't work at all. You tried to get them to work at the workbench, and they didn't do anything. And that was something that really annoyed people, because in the old version of the game, that was not an issue. It became an issue in the new version on the new map. We'll call that new map 2. And that's the map that you're seeing me play on right now. This is the new map, I guess. Over time, he did fix things. He fixed things over time. It took him a while, but he gave us the option to go back and play the old version, which I went and did in Season 5. But in the next update, he was able to fix a lot of those bugs that made the survivors pretty much, they were pretty much useless at the time. He fixed them so that they would work and everything. They'd work at the workbench. And so that was good. And then, of course, he added that other survivor who rode around and crashed his car all the time. And then the bandits were, from what I remember, they were a little bit ridiculous, and how hard they were to kill. I think he fixed that as well. So he made some improvements for sure, and so people were happy with that. But the new map, I felt it was lacking, and I think a lot of people felt it was lacking. He did add in some more points of interest over time, and it became a lot of fun to play, because you have the Western town now, you have all the trading posts, plus you have the new survivor camp, which he just added in the last update, which I think that was the very end of December of 2022. That was the last update he put out. So he's made improvements to the new map, which obviously has been good. It was needed, but it has taken him a while. It's taken him a while to do that. And also, he has said that he has several people helping him on this game now. So that is good. It's good that he has help because, for a time, there were a lot of people who said that all he could do was just create maps. and all he was doing was just changing the map around and making a new map every couple of years. And, he has made a lot of improvements to the game. I will give him credit for that. And it's fun. It's still fun. I still play it, but there are a lot of people who are unhappy and a lot of people who've been impatient with the update. And let's just be honest, I think it's close to 50-50, the people who play this game. I think half the people who play this game are restless, and they're, getting frustrated with the developer, and they have a good reason why. There are still bugs in this game. There are still a lot of bugs that have been around since the beginning of the game. And he has fixed some of them. In the process of fixing some bugs, he's created new bugs. And, he's had to fix some of those. Some of them he's been able to fix, and some of them he still hasn't fixed. And so I understand a lot of people's concerns with it. And I understand why a lot of people are unhappy. And on top of that, he changed the map, which a lot of people were unhappy with. And if you watched a lot of people like Game Edged and Cage, they would play for like maybe a month, and then they stopped playing. And that was different because I remember they used to play it a lot. They used to play Myst a lot for months at a time. And then when that new update hit, they played for a few weeks and maybe a month, and then they just stopped playing it. And I know people wanted to see more Myst videos because I would always see people saying more Myst in their comments. And they just, I think they were like a lot of people. They were frustrated, and I don't know for sure, but I was frustrated. I was frustrated. That's why I went back to the old version to play Season 5 because I was so frustrated with the new map. But Season 6 rolled around. He came out with that new update. I think that was in July or September. I can't remember. It was 2022. He came up with that new update, and I think that was 0.5.0, and it was good. He made the changes that he needed to, and, the new map was playable again. And, of course, he's had a few little patch updates since. Of course, he added in the Survivor Camp. That was at the end of 2022. I think that was the very end, like December 31st or something like that. I'll have to look back through the notes in the game. But, he made little patch updates and stuff like that. And then February 4th, I'm looking at it right now, February 4th, he put out a progress update. And, of course, he was talking about moving the game to Unreal Engine 5, which, I think is going to improve the game a bunch. And then, of course, he put out another progress update. I think, let's see, that was March 16th. And in that progress update, he talked about fixing the physics. Of course, with moving the lockers and stuff in this game, it can be kind of tricky in getting them to stay where you want them to stay. That can be difficult, especially when there's lockers butted up against other lockers. So I guess he's fixing that, hopefully. And he's also adding a trailer that you can put items in and you can move it around the map. And that's exciting. And, of course, with Progress Update 3, which was the one that really pumped a lot of people up, that's when he announced that he's going to add the old map back into the game. He's actually going to combine the old map with the new map. In this next big update, 0.6.0, which he says is going to drop July 30th. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not because we know what's happened in the past, but July 30th, as of right now, the day that I'm recording this, which is about a month away from July 30th, he says that is when the 0.6.0 update is going to drop. Now, why is this important? Why is this update important for him and important for the future of this game? Well, first of all, let's keep this in mind. It is a test branch update. So it's not actually going to update the whole game. If you want to play this new update, you're going to have to go into betas. You're going to have to right-click on the game, go down to, I think it's going to be properties, and you go into that, and then you open up betas, and then you have to install the beta version of the game to play that. Okay, that's complicated enough for a lot of people, but if you want to play the new update, you're going to have to do that. And of course, people are going to be upset because it's not going to change the whole game. But honestly, that's the way to go, especially when it's a test branch. Now, why am I a little concerned about that? Because he's had all this time with other developers to get this update ready. It's been how long since we've had a major update? I think it's going to be going on a year here pretty soon since we've had a major update in this game. Maybe even longer. I can't remember. I can't remember when the last big update was. He had a, let's see. I'm scrolling through it right now, so bear with me. Major update 0.5.1. That was July 28th, 2022. Yeah, so it'll be about a year. It'll be almost exactly a year since the last major update. He's had a few patches here and there, but nothing major. So, why is this important? Well, for one, it's been a long time since there's been a big update, so people are obviously impatient. If you go onto the Steam chats, the discussions, you're going to see a lot of toxicity because I don't even like to go onto the Steam discussions anymore because it's just people asking about when's the update and people asking about multiplayer and all this stuff, and then people being really toxic towards each other. It's so hard to just go onto Steam and go through the discussions and, look at stuff and read stuff because it's just always people yelling at each other. And I think that's just the way life is now with society. Everybody's just so divided. It just feels like this game, the fans for this game are just as divided as, society with everything, whether it's politics or whatever it is. But let it be known, there's a vocal minority, and I say that term loosely, minority, who are very upset with the developer. Because I honestly think it's about half and half. I think half of the people are like, okay, well, that's fine. We'll wait and see how things go. We're happy with how the game is going. We'll give the developer time to get this thing figured out and improve this game. And then there's the other half who I feel like are very impatient. They want certain things. They want multiplayer. And, they want the update and they want it now. And, you can understand because there are other single developer games like Subsistence that are updated on a regular basis, usually 3 to 6 months. And when you get the update, it's going to be good, and there's rarely any bugs. With Myst, you get an update, and there's all kind of bugs. You get an update, and it's underwhelming. With other games, you're not usually underwhelmed by updates. It's like, okay, update, great. It was a decent update. Maybe it was a great update, and you're super excited. With Myst, you kind of have to bite your tongue because sometimes it's not always an overwhelming great update. Sometimes it's just, okay, he's added some new things in, but there's some new issues that we're running into. This is probably the biggest update that he's ever put out, or at least he's planning to put out, because what he's planning to do, he's planning to move everything over to Unreal Engine 5. So it's going to be a new engine. I think the current version is Unreal Engine 4. So it's going to be on a new engine. Also, he's adding in the old map. So he's basically combining both maps. I don't know if we'll be able to play both maps. I sure hope we'll be able to play both maps because I know a lot of people are going to be upset if we can't. And then, of course, he's adding in a whole bunch of new things. And, the zombies are going to be new. Their movements are going to be new. I don't know if there's going to be new survivors. I don't know if he's changing the survivors. I don't know what's going on with that. But there's a lot of big changes that are coming to this game. And it's going to be happening fast. And hopefully the bugs are fixed, because that's one of the big bugaboos for people. People are unhappy with the bugs because there's been bugs that have been part of the game for really the start of it. And so that's one thing that people are saying, hey, are you going to fix the bugs? Are you going to fix the bugs? He says he's going to fix the bugs. He says the bugs have been fixed. We will see. And that's the big thing. If he hits a home run on this update, I think this game is going to be in a great place, because one, you have all this new stuff to do in the game. You have all this new content for us YouTubers. There's going to be so many people excited to put out video of exploration and fighting the bandits and building. There's going to be new opportunities for building and all that. It's going to be great. And people are going to be playing the crap out of this game. I just know it. Regardless of whether it's a good update or not, people are going to be playing it like crazy. But the question is, will people be playing it like crazy 2 months later? Will the big YouTubers like Game Edged and Cage and Mad Vlad, will those type of guys be playing Myst Survival 2 months down the road after the update? Or will it be underwhelming and we'll see them play for like a few weeks, maybe a month, and then they just kind of tail off on those videos because people aren't watching them as much? And that's something that I've noticed on YouTube lately. Nobody's starting any new seasons in Myst. It's been a long time since I've seen somebody start a new season in Myst. At least a larger YouTuber. I've seen a few smaller YouTubers, guys who are kind of the same amount of subscribers as me, or even smaller. I've seen a few that are like 200 subscribers or so, starting new seasons. But I haven't seen a lot of people lately starting a new season on Myst. I've seen people playing it. I haven't seen any of the really big YouTubers, the guys who have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I haven't seen them starting any new seasons in Myst. I haven't seen them even playing Myst. So that tells me one thing, that there's not a demand for the videos. Nobody's really watching those videos, and that's what I've noticed. Not a lot of people are watching the Myst videos. Not a lot of people are watching really anything on my channel, and mostly that's because of Myst, because there hasn't been an update in a while, and nobody's all that interested in it right now. So let's say everything goes right for the developer in this next update, and the bugs are fixed. He's combined both the maps, and there's no issues with it. You're not falling through the map. Both mines are there. The old mine is back, and it's not just completely bugged and disappeared. You can actually loot everything there. Hopefully that's the case. Hopefully there's no major issues with the zombies or anything like that. Let's say everything is at least good and passes the test for most of the people who play this game. I think this game is in a great spot. I think I think you're going to see a lot of new people, come in to play the game. I think a lot of people are going to really enjoy it. And who knows if multiplayer is going to be part of this new update. I think that's going to be really huge for the game. And that's one of the things though, is multiplayer. I don't know if multiplayer is actually going to happen in this update or not. He hasn't said anything lately about multiplayer. And that's where I kind of wonder if we're actually going to see that in the next update or not. Because that brings in a whole new issue, is like the mechanics. How are you going to do it with 2 or more people? Are we going to have multiplayer up to 4 people? Because if it's just 2 people, I know a lot of people are going to be upset about that. So that's one thing the developers, I hope he's got a plan for, and I guess he's reworking the entire game, single player and multiplayer, so that he can add co-op. So I guess we'll see. I don't know. I know there's been a lot of people vocal about multiplayer. A lot of people want it. And I know there's a lot of people who, are original players and who are used to the single player who are just unhappy with the multiplayer people. And, again, I don't really care if there's single player or multiplayer. If you're going to add it in, go ahead and add it in. I'm fine with that. I'll even play it with my friends, play it on multiplayer. But, a lot of people are unhappy because they think that that the developer got sidetracked because he was trying to appease the people who wanted multiplayer. I don't know if that's the case. I'm sure he probably did a little bit so he can add that into the game. But we'll see. Hopefully that's good and there's no issues with it and it's part of the next update. And if it is, I think it's a home run. Honestly, I think it's a home run. But let's say multiplayer's not in the next update. Let's say that the next update is just the old map with no opportunity to go through the tunnel to the new map. Now you're going to have some issues for people. And now people are going to be unhappy and very unhappy. And, also, what if there's still bugs when he said he's fixed bugs? Because, when you put out an update, there's always going to be some bugs. But what if it's just a plethora of bugs? We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. But if the worst case scenario happens, now we're in trouble because, and I compare this to, I compare this to a relationship, right? You're dating somebody and they make a mistake. And it's a big mistake. But you say, okay, I'll give you a pass. There's one time you made this mistake. I'll give you a pass on this. Don't let it happen again. Well, time goes on and they keep making mistakes over and over and over. And eventually, at what point do you leave this person? When they keep doing the same thing over and over and, you've talked about it and they still just can't change. At what point do you leave that person? And I think about some of the people who play this game who are upset, and they've been upset, and they've wanted certain things to change with the game. And as a developer, you have sole discretion on how you want the game to be. That it's your decision on how you want the game to be. It's your game. And, you want to appease the people who are playing your game, but, you can't please everybody, right? I mean, gamers are like Star Wars fans. You can't please everybody. You're never going to be able to please all the Star Wars fans. There's always somebody who's going to be unhappy. But looking at this next update, knowing that there's people who are unhappy, at what point do they just give up on the game? And I think we are starting to reach that point, especially if this update doesn't hit it out of the park. Like if the developer has some issues with this update, if he makes some mistakes on the update, if it's underwhelming again, after all this time that he had to work on it with this new team of developers helping him, I think you're going to see some people just give up on the game. Now, I don't know how many people that will be. I'm sure there's going to be new people who are going to start playing the game just because we have this big update and, they're seeing a bunch of YouTubers playing it. And I'm sure at first you'll probably see some positive reviews on the new update because that's usually what happens when there's an update. It's usually positive reviews. Sometimes you're going to get negative reviews. And after a couple of weeks, you might start to see more negative reviews. And maybe it's after a couple of days. If it's a really poor update, it might be a lot of negative reviews. And then that's when there's going to be some serious trouble for the developer. And that's when you could make the argument that, this game's not growing. You know, if new people aren't playing the game and you're losing a lot of people who've been playing it for years, you know, there's going to be issues. And of course, there's always going to be people playing the game. I mean, there's people who are going to play it no matter what. I mean, I don't see a time where I'm not playing this game. I'm probably going to keep playing this game. But, you know, that depends on you guys. Do you guys want to keep watching Myst videos? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the game progresses. But I do think that if this next update isn't a success, I think you're going to see a lot of people just give up on the game. And I hope that doesn't happen because, you know, I have a lot of hope for this game. I have a lot of optimism. I guess we'll see. I think there's a lot of positive things about this update. I'm excited about it. I hope that it's going to be a success. I hope it's going to be a success for the developer because, you know, if this doesn't pan out for him, then, you know, a lot of time has been wasted for, you know, I don't know how much money he's made on the game. I'm sure he's made a decent amount, especially for him to hire a team of developers. So he's had to have some success with it. But, you know, you just wonder if this update doesn't work out for him, you know, how invested is he in the future of the game if it's a poor update? So he needs to make sure he gets everything right. And that's another reason I want to, you know, prepare people for the possibility that maybe he pushes it back again. You know, he says July 30th, but will it be July 30th? He might end up having to push that back simply because it's not ready. And, you know, you don't want to put out a product that is inferior. You really don't. And that's what he did with the 2021 update, the Halloween 2021 update. He put out an inferior product and he kept pushing the date back because he kept announcing, hey, that it's going to release on such and such day. And he kept announcing that and he kept having to push it back. And eventually people started getting angry. And so he just went ahead and put the update out and there were all kinds of issues. And with the last few patch updates, he hasn't announced when he put them out. He just randomly would put them out. And there you go. You've got a little patch update. I think he made a mistake announcing a date for this beta release. I think he made a bit of a mistake there because if there's any sort of issues, you know, there's people who are already unhappy. They're going to be even more unhappy if the update isn't what they expect. So I don't know. We'll see. That's my rant, my ramblings. I know this was a little bit different than other videos that I've done, but I figured we might as well talk about it. I'm going to try to get one more Myst video out before that update. I don't know, maybe one or two. We'll see. It's going to be, you know, who knows if it doesn't drop on July 30th. I don't know what we're going to do. But I'm really hoping that we get that update, and I'm hoping that it's a success. And I guess we'll see. I'm probably going to be working that day, so you might not see the start of Season 7 until maybe the day after. It all depends on what time that update drops. But I just know I will be playing it as soon as I can because I'm going to be so excited, and I know you guys are going to be excited. And hopefully we've got a lot of fun stuff to do when the update does drop, and hopefully we've got a lot of fun for a long time. That's what I'm hoping. I don't know. I guess we'll see. So anyway, guys, I think I'm going to leave the video there. So if you enjoyed my little rant, you know, give the video a like. Let me know your thoughts on this whole thing in the comments. Share the video with your friends. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It definitely helps grow the channel and get the videos out there to more people who enjoy these types of videos. And I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.